Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So we got a lot of news to cover today, and this is actually pretty big concerning Rooster Teeth. Of course, first off, we're going to look at a employee that recently left, and then we are going to look at the issues concerning Gray Haddock, because, yeah, there's a lot of those, and there's a lot that I have to say about that. So, we'll be looking at everything that they had to say. So, first off, the employee that left was Ellie Main. And we're going to look at what she had to say, and it's pretty sad to say that she did leave. She was the host for Ruby Rewind during Volume 6. So, for those of you who may not have known who she was, that's who she was. I mean, there were a couple of other things that she did, but that's the one thing I think most people will know her for. But looking at it, this is what she had to say in her goodbye message. Hi everyone. This is my last week as an employee at Rooster Teeth. To avoid any speculation, I was not part of the layoffs that happened last week. Rather, this was a decision that I came to after a great deal of soul-searching, a slight mental breakdown, and a lot of tears. The truth is, a huge part of me does not want to close this chapter of my life. Working at Rooster Teeth was something I never imagined I would do, let alone participate in an on-camera capacity. I will always be grateful to Bernie for seeing something in me and championing me to become a member of the Rooster Teeth cast and core group. Through this experience, I have met and fallen in love with some of the people who I know I will know forever, the people who have been there with me in the highest highs and lows of my life. I have had so many moments of joy, mental snapshots of absolute incredulity that I would be lucky enough to gain experience and grow and learn and have so much fun at the same time. And I've been able to meet some of you, the community that makes this place a company. I fundamentally am a different person because of this place. You know, just want to point this out here. It's sad to hear her have to go because of what seems to be personal reasons. I mean, she was not a part of the layoffs, and she did genuinely decide to leave on her own, and I think this is a very sad thing. But let's continue before I give more of my thoughts. But there is no rose without a thorn. Now, I think I know where that's leading. When you are fortunate enough to be granted a platform, something weird begins to happen in your heart with vulnerability, authenticity, and courage, in my experience. I began to tie my own sense of worthiness to my opportunities and achievements, and began to live from a place of scarcity, and all of that led to shame. Shame is a great killer of vulnerability, and creativity requires vulnerability. That's very true. I agree with her there. I am super proud of the work I was able to do here, and I would have loved to do more. I'm at a point in my life where if I don't take a massive step of faith in the direction I want my creative life to go, I might never do so. The content I so desperately want to make simply doesn't align with Rooster Teeth's style and comedy voice that has long been established, and that is totally okay. I am scared, terrified even, but excited to venture into the unknown a bit and to pursue my own personal projects that I'll be updating you all on as I go. If you want to stick with me, Rooster Teeth will always be a formative part of my life, and I'll be forever grateful. Maybe you will still see me there from time to time. Now, a few things to say about this before we move on to another big part of this. First off, I want to start by saying, Ellie Main, I hope the best for you, and wherever your venture takes you, I hope that you are able to pursue your dreams, and I hope that you are successful as the road keeps opening up for you. I hope the best for you. But it does seem like she does have some personal issues that she was trying to talk about here. I mean, talking about how she needed to be vulnerable to be creative, and that shame can be a great killer of that. And that's true for a creator. You do have to be vulnerable. And, it really can be terrible whenever something tragic occurs or you feel great shame. It really can hurt you. It can lead to depression, and it can lead to a lot of other negative emotions that can affect that. So I feel really bad for her, and, I think it's a shame. But another thing to look at here is the content she wants to make doesn't align with the Rooster Teeth style, which is a bit strange, but it tells you that things are changing and that she won't be able to perform and do what she wants to do with Rooster Teeth anymore, it seems. But I just have to say, Ellie Main, good luck to you. I hope the best. I really do, sincerely. So, Gray Haddock. We need to talk about him. Gray was fired all the way back in May. Now, I've known of these things for a while, but I could not say this stuff. I have had information given to me, and I'm going to keep my sources anonymous, but he was fired way back. And there are a lot of things we got to get into here, but let's look at his first tweet of what he had to say. Given some inquiries, I feel I ought to relay I parted ways with Rooster Teeth recently. Yeah, that is a lie. You didn't part ways, you were terminated. We've left the door open to the possibility of my doing creative work for them down the road. Meanwhile, I'm off to pursue new projects and will keep you posted. I wish everyone in Rooster Teeth Animation the best. This is a lie. He was actually fired. And I'm going to get more into that in a moment, but we need to look at his full-on post because there's a lot he had to say. So here's what Gray had to say. Usually when someone wants to cast me as a villain, I'm shown a script or some art first. I've seen some really wild stuff go by the last many days, and I've held back for any number of reasons, from basic PR wisdom of not giving a platform to trolls or clickbait, to not wanting to engage simply out of respect for the company-wide layoffs. But then, the more egregious stuff goes by that will impact many other people if left unchecked, and if you have to step in. A lot of people have simply been asking sincere, if panicked, questions, and we'll get to that in a sec. Also, some 4chan jokers and even some occasional anonymous source have piled on. As for more sensationalist tweets, clickbait vids, gotcha docs, etc., I've yet to see anything that is correct, and a lot of it is genuinely backwards compared to what the reality was. There's no purpose in doing a point-by-point takedown of everything that is so wrong with the content of this stuff. A lot of it goes away with common sense, and if I were in a position to do anything like publish my calendar, show you production budgets, clear up what company or executive called for what campaign or action, the remaining gotchas would evaporate. But people are either opportunistic, in denial, or, and this is the compiled thing, in legit pain and confusion as they're never allowed the additional business context that would poke a hole in their thinking. Yeah, the reason why you don't prove anything is because you don't have the evidence. That's why. See, Gray over here, he's not proving this. He's just saying this to try to make himself look like he left, but he doesn't throw results out there. Without results, that doesn't tell you anything. And when multiple stories pile up and talk against you, and they sound the same, yeah, doesn't look too good, does it? So moving forward. In general, yeah, people really wish they could pin their woes on a villain in times like these. I get it. In no way am I saying I'm perfect either. In the 8 years I went to the wall for the company, I apologize for the mistakes I could and at least tried to learn in hindsight. Did you really, Gray? Did you really? The first 3 years I was in the company, I was a contractor, dismissed immediately upon wrap of each project. My brand new wife got to see me 2 to 3 nights a week because we slept at the office to get the job done. Yeah, their crunch time has been going on for much longer than some people believe, by the way. I've known this for a long time, and the animator issue is not something recent. This has been going on for years. And, you know, the animator issue is a very serious one. And the crunch time is another problem, as well as the bad working environment and the abuse the animators went through. Like I said, that's been going on for years. That's nothing new. That's not something recent. That's been going on for a while. But moving forward, the more genuine questions revolve around whether you should read into the layoffs or my departure as changing the chances of any one given show, or if an animated show caused the layoffs. And between the usual knee-jerk stuff, there was at least one pleasantly astute discussion about general business rhythms and M&As in the main subreddit. Maybe pay more attention to that commentary for perspective. There's a really good amount of what we built together in animation that's intact. A lot of talented, skilled people are still there, caught in the middle of an awkward as hell situation, and I feel that panic or speculation about a show or a department's chances during this time does them a disservice. There's no need to assume that the departure of any one given person somehow massively alters that team's chances to do great things, much as no one person is a company-wide culture. I know they will continue to do their best, much as I did mine within the given confines and pressures. Now I'm going to give a bit of critique here to what Gray had to say. Now, yes, it is true that when people get laid off in a company, any type of business, a job, doesn't matter, sometimes they will be angry and upset. And they'll blame other people for what happened. Now, that's true, but the thing is, the sources that many people, myself included, have been given this information to, it's been multiple people have said this stuff. It's not just one story, it's multiple people telling the same story about Gray. And if multiple people are saying the same thing, they're telling the same story, then, it's more than likely true. But we'll get into more confirmation in a moment. Let's continue to look at what he had to say. For the same business and legal reasons, you don't get any context or details accompanying negative headlines out of any given company. You sadly also don't hear about a lot of good stuff that is also deeply under the hood. Weird, but true, and of course, I'm talking hypothetically here. You're simply not going to hear about the history of positive changes, what team has actually been perfectly fine for how long, or what remedies one debt offered when an outside debt confused employees or acknowledged the company had a challenge it wanted to work on in the first place. So corporate chain might opt to black box all the information. It doesn't mean positive things hadn't happened, and it definitely would not be in a troll's interest to mention anything positive. Bottom line, there are still good people there trying to do good work, and that must be respected. Now, I'll give him credit. That's true. There are still good people that work at Rooster Teeth. Not everyone there is bad, and that's true. And I feel for the people that have lost their jobs. The good ones that lost their jobs due to layoffs, I feel bad for them. And some people have misinterpreted me when I've talked about this stuff when it comes to Rooster Teeth and all the bad things keep happening. I feel bad for people that lose their jobs, personally, because that's their livelihood. And, while there are still some bad people at Rooster Teeth, there are good ones too. And I feel bad for the good ones that lose their jobs. I really do, sincerely. And that sucks for anybody when they lose their job. But I'm just saying. But, Gray had a point there. There are still good people that work there. And, it's sad to see them get axed. It really is. And that there are some people that are good and, for their talent and what they do, they should be respected for it. The ones that are good and do their job well. Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. But moving forward to the big part here. Regarding Genlock specifically, its chances, impact on broader things, etc., I point you to publicly available statements and stats. It's been said several times that the show will launch and relaunch on multiple platforms, multiple times through the year. Speculation when you don't have data is silly at best. Now that some real indicators are starting to hit, maybe take a look at how it has been doing on Cartoon Network. It was consistently the #2 animated show behind DBS for all of Saturday cable in its first 6 weeks, and episode 6 broke into the top 10 Saturday cable shows of any kind, against college football no less. This is not meaningless nor unnoticed, thanks to anyone who's been supporting it there. Let me also tell you something though, Gray. You don't throw out statistics. You don't throw out the evidence of it doing good. And saying something's doing good on cable television doesn't mean it's really doing good. I mean, Genlock actually financially hurt Rooster Teeth. They lost millions, and it underperformed badly. So before Gray goes on and saying, oh, it's been doing great, yeah, guess what? It's done terrible. It has financially crippled Rooster Teeth to the point to where they're at where they are now, and Gray took out budget from other shows, and he took teams to put them into Genlock, and it didn't go over well. It hurt the company. It did not benefit them. And here he is trying to say, oh yeah, this proves everything. That doesn't prove anything. And comparing that to college football, yeah, that's pretty funny. I'll be honest with you. Just because you say something's doing good on television, cable television, that doesn't mean anything. And you need to throw the proof out there. He's making claims of people saying that, oh, hey, look, it's doing really good. He's telling us that. But then he goes completely against what he was saying earlier about how trolls have been out there saying clickbait and saying things on so-and-so with no proof. But Where's your proof right now? You're just making claims. You're basically saying what everybody else that you've been against, or that you've been saying has been against you, is saying. So you gotta prove it as you're stating here, apparently, Gray. You're not doing that here. That's a bit of a critique I'm gonna throw at you. Before you start saying stuff, you need to prove it. Just saying. I'd be happy to work with Rooster Teeth as an independent creative, much as other folk continue to do, because I was upset where some company strategy and messaging went. As this is part of my personal career history, I feel comfortable sharing that I had conversation with executive back at the beginning of 2018 as animation started on Genlock, in which we agreed it was nearing the time for us to decide if I let go operational duties and focus strictly on creative, my preference, or vice versa. In the second quarter of 2018, I was granted the 3 full-time headcount needed to begin offloading the bulk of my managerial duties with all that stat implies. I transferred supervising producer duties, i.e. hands-on logistics management, for all shows, and you can spot check that I stopped being credited as such on RWBY Volume 6, Red vs. Blue Season 17, Genlock, etc. I hired a new second person to handle all department budgets and accounting responsibilities beneath a certain financial threshold. Lastly, I created a department coordinator position for offloading all border studio and facilities efforts. That's how we rolled last year. I did, however, have strategic oversight, which is why I ultimately still look responsibility for absolutely anything that may have happened, specifically inside animation while on my watch, and have expressed that previously to the crew. At the end of May of 2019, we discussed the completion of my transition out of remaining strategic duties, and the company offered the title of creative director with emphasis on animation. June was June, and now I'll be doing my creative work as an independent. Yes, that can certainly include work for Rooster Teeth. Thanks for reading, thanks for the recent kind words, and take care. Something to note that was not brought up. Now, let's just say a little birdie told me some things. And March, there were some layoffs back then, but that was kept as a secret. That information was hidden. So there was that. But another thing to note, Gray did not plan to leave this way, because they replaced him with Margaret Dean from Elation, who is a company above them that owns them. So, it tells you a lot. But animators are coming out now. Mike Chapman was actually one of the lead animators for 2 years for Rooster Teeth. Came out with a statement against what Gray had to say, and this is what he said. I understand the need to cover your ass, but you were the head of animation while deplorable things happened. Genlock was a major resource hog. No one's going to get this, but how long did it take for you to approve that nano smoke? Just curious. Oh boy. You know, when the animators are coming out against that statement and starting to roast him, that's not good. It's not a good sign. And for Gray, his response was embarrassing, to say the least. And for him to sit there and also try to say that he walked out on his own, that's not true. Why would Margaret Dean from Elation be brought in? See, that's a bit strange. Also, there have been some pretty big things that have come out here. I mean, like I said, there was a lot of budget taken from other shows. RWBY is also included in this mess of shows that they took budget from. They took resources from other shows as well, and Katie Newman, who worked on RWBY, she even sent out a tweet stating that she was going to be working on Genlock. And so that was also telling that resources were pulled from other shows. And, you look at it. The mismanagement, the issues, so many different things that was going on, and budgets from shows being taken to use for Genlock did nothing more than cripple and hurt Rooster Teeth as a company. It financially hit them hard, and they lost so much. They lost millions on this. So they came out negatively in the end. And of course, Rooster Teeth has many more issues aside from just this matter itself. But, this is a pretty big one in itself. I mean, that's a huge impact for them negatively. And 2019 has most certainly not been their year at all. And from some of the rumors that I've heard, that they and Elation may just gel into Cartoon Network. They may just be absorbed. I've been hearing more and more things of that lately. And, the truth be told, Rooster Teeth may not last another year or two, even. I mean, that's how dire the situation is for them. And that's not a joke. That's in all seriousness. They are in dire danger of potentially not being a company anymore. But anyways, leave me your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear from you, and let's try to share the video out there. Try to get the word out there, and it also helps out the channel, so I do appreciate it. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and follow me on Discord. Link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today, and remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.